here at the Clayton Center for our June exhibit, hosted by Clayton Visual Arts. And this month we are featuring our Capture the Town photography competition. We have been doing Paint the Town competition on odd years, and we decided to fill the even years with a strictly photography competition. And we asked our photographers in the area to capture iconic scenes of Clayton. I'm standing here with Deborah Coates, who entered 3 photographs for our competition. And Deborah, will you tell us a little bit about what you entered?
I entered one piece. It's a sepia piece of the Clayton Town Hall, and it's called Classic Architecture, and it's a section of the architecture and how it looks in the past, because it's an older, it used to be a bank. I also entered Robertson's Mule Company, and a section of it, because it's kind of, everyone sees it and everyone remembers it. And at the Mondo Roots Festival, people came up and were, oh look, you know, this is the Mule, Robertson Mule Company, and they would make comments and they'd reminisce about who owned it and such as that. And I also did an antiqued picture of the Morning Glory Inn, and how it looks with its gardenia bushes in full bloom and out front. So those are the 3 pieces that I entered.
I love your classic architecture piece. I'm curious how you got that effect of that bleached out effect of that. It's beautiful.
Working with digital photography and computers, you can actually take your computer and make it into a paintbrush. So I worked in Adobe Photoshop Elements, and I kind of bleached it out, but I worked with saturation and color, and then put a sepia in, and then adjusted the saturation of the sepia, and that's how I got that golden effect to it.
Now, Deborah, you've entered a lot of photography shows, and I'm sure won some awards.
I got juried into the Cary Photographic Association photography contest for the past 2 years in a row. Then another piece that I have was juried into the Arboretum show, and when they say juried in, it means that all the pieces, like if they have 275 pieces entered, then they choose the top pieces to show. Not all the pieces make the show. So that's what a juried show means. So it's just an honor to be shown, even if you don't place first, second, or third.
Right. And how can people see more of your work?
If you go to in Flickr, if you go to look up Visual Praise Studio, or you can go to Facebook to Visual Praise Studio. You can find my work at both spots.
Okay, thanks so much, Deborah.
Thank you.
I'm here with Kyle Wilson of Left Behind Photography, and Kyle has entered 2 pieces for our Capture the Town show. Kyle, will you tell us about your pieces that you entered?
Oh, sure. I entered Lee's Laundromat, and then Pride, which is a photograph of the C.E. Barnes General Store in Archer's Lodge. I shot the C.E. Barnes one first because I live a mile from that store right there on Buffalo Road, and I pass it every day. And then this one particular night, they had like every light bulb working at the same time, and it was lit up and just looked so perfect, and there were no cars in the parking lot. So I just knew I had to take this shot of this kind of classic slice of Americana. They have you can see it has the American flag, North Carolina flag, and it just, to me, it just spoke of pride. A guy who has pride in his business and is passing it down generation to generation. And then the Lee's Laundromat is just, it's also classic Americana, but it's unique to Clayton. I mean, I haven't seen a laundromat like that in a long time, and I just love that sign. That funky little globe multicolored sign is just so retro and so cool.
It's amazing how you took 2 iconic buildings that everyone's familiar with and just dressed them up and just made them look shiny and fabulous. It's great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that is, I mean, somebody mentioned that was the prettiest they've ever seen Lee's Laundromat look. And I was able to get it with, again, no cars in the parking lot and nobody walking around or inside. And I was really lucky with the lighting. On the day I went out to take it, it was towards the evening, and it put like a special glow on that building.
And you added that a little bit back in the studio.
Well,
Jerry.
it's the technique that I use when I shoot. It's not actual one photo. It's HDR, so it's high dynamic range photography. So I'm taking multiple exposures of the exact same shot. So that I think that shot is about 5 exposures, and it's ranging from extremely dark up to very bright. And then I use a software to combine it into one image. Wow. And that way you're able to get that full range of light from the darks up to the bright highlights, and you get much truer and richer colors than if you were just to take one exposure.
Right. And you have recently moved to full-time photography business?
Yes. Circumstances dictated that this no longer be a hobby for me. Up until fall of 2015, I had a regular full-time job in IT, and I did this, as my passion and my hobby on the weekends. But I was laid off from that, and I was like, well, let me start photography full-time, put all my effort into Left Behind, and see if I can make a living out of that. And somebody told me today that never has somebody worked 80 hours to avoid working 40 hours a week. And it's true, I've never worked harder, but had more fun in my entire life.
That's great. You're at a festival every weekend.
Yes, I am. If I can, I'm trying to do, I'd love to do a festival a week, but as is, I'm doing maybe 2 or 3 a month, and I'm expanding. I mean, now I'm traveling up to Pennsylvania and Michigan and Illinois and all of them down the East Coast, and hopefully world domination soon.
So how can people find you online if they don't want to travel?
It's simple. It's leftbehind.zenfolio.com. You can see all my new galleries, the stuff I've added. Plus you can order online. You can order anything from a tiny print up to a giant metal or a frame from the leisure of your laptop or your iPad. And that's open 24 hours. And there's new stuff I'm adding all the time. And also there's my show schedule tab up there, so you can see where I'm going to be next. And I've recently started doing a blog. So I love talking, and this is a way for me to talk. I don't think many people read my blog, but I have lots of thoughts about my shows and in the business. So I dump my thoughts into my blog.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for entering our competition.
Appreciate it.
I'm here with Lizzie Branch, who owns Soul Graffiti Art Studio up the street. And Lizzie also entered a photo for our Capture the Town photography competition. Lizzie, will you tell us about what you entered?
Well, it's called Main Street Divided. And I took this photograph shortly after my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and the storm was coming up Main Street. And I told the kids, I said, hey, let's hurry over so I can get a picture and see what it looks like. You just never know until you take the picture. And when I got to Main Street, got out, I didn't have my real camera, so I just used my phone and said, okay, hope and a prayer, let's hope this works. Took the picture, and the first one I took was the one, and it just so happened that the light was green and the walk sign was on. So that I took that as kind of the fate, God saying, this is a storm and you just got to walk through it. The light is green, you just got to go through the storms of life and see what happens on the other side.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Well,
thank you.
Well, it turned out great, and I know you're really loving Clayton. This is close to your studio.
It is. Yeah, I love Clayton, love being here, love teaching students and painting. Photography is a passion. I'm definitely not a professional photographer, but as most artists, I see life in frames, and I think artists alike tend to see the world uniquely, and we're able to see those pictures and shots in nature that just are appealing to the eye and to the heart as well. So.
And you were recently juried into the Sampson County show for your photography.
For a photograph as well. That one I took of a lizard sunbathing out in our yard, and the color was so brilliant. Sometimes you just get lucky, honestly, and the light is perfect, and that day the light was just ideal. So had to do very little touch up for that picture, and it just, again, the light was perfect.
And how could people see more of your work or get in touch with you about your studio?
Sure, 2 ways. One is my Facebook page, which is Soul Graffiti Art Studio on Facebook, and then secondly, my Soul Graffiti Art Studio website, which is soulgraffitiartstudio.com. And that's the best way. I also have portfolio of my work there, things that are for sale.
Okay, well, thanks so much, Lizzie.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Also on display throughout the month of June, we have artwork by Carolyn Howard and two of her art students, Sarah Grace and Abby Macco. Carolyn Howard has been teaching art classes throughout her whole life and career as an artist. And we have two of our artists here. They're both 15 years old, very accomplished. Carolyn Howard does painting in all media, watercolor, oil, acrylic. She also does collage and was recently juried into the National Collage Society. We hope you'll enjoy seeing her work. Upstairs, we have doors from the Minder Roots Cultural Arts and Music Festival, and you can come see those. We have a door from each of the area high schools on display. And next month for July's show, we have two Clayton artists featured. We have Herbert Schmidt, who does pen and ink drawings, beautiful architectural drawings, also some colored pencil. And we have Amy Devereaux, who is a photographer, and you will get to travel the world through the pictures she's taken. Hope to see you there.